Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at the players that I want to see travel to Japan the most in 2023 for Smash Ultimate. Now originally I was going to do a top 5 for this list, but I couldn't pick 5 players, so I have made it 9 and I have segmented them into 3 categories. The first category is going to be how I think they will do in Japan, just like players that have a very good set history against either a couple of Japanese players or most Japanese players that I think will just do incredible. The second one is going to be that the way that they play the game I think will do very well in Japan, whether it's like they have like a super slow neutral, they have a super heavy like rush down neutral, like their combos are so insane people wouldn't be able to deal with it. Just those kind of dynamics that I'd be very interested in seeing. And the third reason is going to be just because I think the storylines that would be super interesting in Japan. Maybe we've never seen them travel before. Maybe we haven't seen them play certain sets against certain people because like no one on this list has played Yoshidora, and I want everyone on this list to. And it's like maybe just reason for that. I'll let you guys find out. I hope you enjoy. Be sure to sub, all the yada yada. And let's just get into the first category. Now, my first 3 set of players is going to be Zamba, Ouch, and Light. I think all 3 of these players would do amazing in Japan, and I will say Ouch is the person with the least information because we've only really seen him clash against Japanese players at Battle of BC, where he did lose to T, but he 3-2'd Shutone and he 3-1'd Kome, and I think his Wolf playstyle would just do so well. That explosive, like super aggressive playstyle of always rushing you down, always forcing you to pick a good option is very strong in Japan because usually people are more calculated and they might not be ready for that type of rushdown. Same thing with Light, honestly. Light plays a different type of rushdown than I think a lot of people expect because he's more of like a zoning spacing rushdown. It feels like he's just outside of your burst range, or he's like hitting your shield with these safe aerials. He's exploding your combos as well, and then also he just does typically very well against Japanese players, especially in like that preseason. I feel like he was like the Japanese Slayer, and now in the preseason, I mean like pre-quarantine, and now he is still very prominent against Japanese players. He did lose to Proto the last time they played, but for the most part, like he beat Kameme at Glitch Regen. At Summit, he did lose to Aquila, but he's been going back and forth with Aquila as well. He's like one of the only people that can consistently contest Aquila in the world, which is pretty insane, and I think Light would do very well in Japan. And then it wouldn't be this list without Zamba. He is the Japanese Slayer. It's not a bit. He is incredible versus Japan. And even though Japan has been getting some wins against him recently, Kameme beat him. He got beat by Gact as well. They've been getting the numbers more evened up, but he still does very well. He beat Aquila. He beat Asimo. He lost to Aquila in the run back at Let's Make Moves Miami, but he does incredible. I think he has a pretty good record versus Shutone, if I remember correctly. He's 2-3 with Shutone, which actually isn't as good as I thought it was, but it's still very good. Versus Ken, he is 3-0. Versus T, I don't know if they've ever played. They have. Oh, wait. T, he is. Oh my god, there's so many T's. T, he is 1-1 against, so he does pretty well against a lot of the Japanese players as well. He is just like so good. Zamba is incredible. And also, Rob isn't as big of a threat as it is in Japan. There is like, or at least like American Rob versus Japanese Rob. It's not nearly that much of a problem. There's a couple good Robs there, like there's SSR, there's this one really good online Rob I forget the name of, but there is some good Rob players there, but not to the extent of Zamba. Zamba is definitely a level above, even though Zachary, I guess you could also say plays Rob, but he doesn't really anymore, and also he just isn't in as much stuff. But yeah, I think Zamba, Ouch, and Light would all do incredible in Japan, and I really want to see them there. Now, my next 3 players are going to be Cola, Bloom Forever, and Mudace. I think all 3 of these players have very interesting playstyles, and it's not like they're completely like contrast of Japanese players. Like I'd say Mudace actually plays pretty similar to a lot of Japanese players, except the difference with Mudace is that he's like a mini raid boss, and you just can't kill him ever. I think that is so interesting because Japan is like, it is these neutral players. They're incredibly clutch. At least their top players are, like, they're very good at closing it out. And I think Mudace would do incredible there. And I also just think like the dynamic of whenever Mudace plays a top player from Japan, it's just super interesting to watch. Like his set that we're playing here, him versus T, is like such a good set. And the way they play, like he just slows down the tempo so well. And I also think that Mudace has a very good chance against every Japanese player. Like everyone on this list does, but like, you know, he's taken a set off of Aquila before. He's like incredible at that matchup. Like he's contested with all the best Japanese players, and I think he has a very high chance to do well in Japan. He's just like, Mudace is absolutely unreal. He is such an amazing player, and the way he moves around is just like, it's magical. I just want to see him travel because I want to see him at more events, honestly. Bloom Forever, honestly, same thing. Bloom Forever is like, in terms of just raw neutral, is like a top 5 neutral player in the game, and if you don't believe me, just watch any set versus like with his brawler. His brawler is not like combo good. I would even argue his brawler isn't good. He's good. Like he doesn't do anything impressive impressive. It's not anything crazy. Actually, he did start turning it up a little bit recently, but like at least when it debuted, he was like not doing anything spectacular. He was just doing these basic bread and butters, nothing crazy, and he was still winning. Like he beat Abadongo with Mii Brawler just by being better than him, which is absolutely insane. Bloom Forever is incredible, and he also just blows you up with Bayo as well. Like I'm only talking about the Brawler to make the neutral good. He has the blow up combos with Bayo, and he's got that crazy neutral, and I think he'd do really well in Japan. And then Cola, kind of the same playstyle as Light, honestly, in terms of just like they are super rushdown players with that like really good spacing. They like do fairly safe stuff on your shield, and if you guess wrong, they blow you up. And Cola, I just like he plays so quick. I think him or Spargo are probably like the quickest players in the game right now. Maybe Light as well, but the way they move all the time is just so hard to keep track of. And I think that's really interesting in Japan because again, Japan playstyle, it isn't like super slow all the time, but there is a lot more slower players there just because the meta as well. Like you have a Pac-Man doing really well there, you have an Olimar doing really, I guess Aegis now, but you have Sonic doing really well there / Sephiroth. You have Steve doing well there. You have Min Proto. You have Min Lucina. Like these aren't particularly fast characters, and then you have Roy, and there is Japanese Roys like we've seen Hikaru do well with, even though it's like feels like mainly DK, but he still does do very well with Roy. We have Alice doing really well as well. So it's not like this character is unheard of, and it's not like, honestly, I feel like Blooms is the only one. I don't really know any Japanese Bayos. Obviously, you have Umeki for a Peach as well, and there is representation for Roy, but I still think that Cole's Roy is just so different from the other Japanese players, like the Japanese top Roys, that it'd be super cool to see. Now, my top three is going to be Kurama, Spargo, and Leo. I've chosen these players all for different reasons specifically, but this would be my top three even if I had everyone included. Kurama being third because I want to see him just play against more people. Kurama's play is mesmerizing. He plays so well. His spacing is incredible. His movement is so perfect. Like Kurama has like top 5 movement in the game easily right now. The way he like just positions himself at all times is insane. And he's doing it with Mario, which feels like a character that's like that shouldn't be your main focus, but it is for him and it helps him so much. And he also has a very good set record versus a lot of Japanese players. He beat T and Zachary at Ludwig Invitational. I think he's won 3-1 against Shuton. Yes, 3-1 against Shuton because Shuton did get the run back against him at Crown. And then I don't know if he's played any other Japanese players. At least super notable ones. It doesn't look like it. Maybe not. He probably has a couple other ones, but for the most part, those are like some of the big dogs, and he's done very well versus all of them, and I think he would do pretty well in Japan as well. And it's not because they don't have a Mario. Like, they have Now. Now is very good there, and he's been doing, like, arguably the best he's ever done, but Kurama is different. He is a different breed. I don't understand why he is so good, but I want to see him in Japan, because I think he'd farm. He's just insane. My number 2 player is going to be Spargo. Spargo is like every compliment I gave to Kurama, except he does it with Cloud, and he does it faster, because Spargo is the fastest player in the world. I think it's kind of uncontested. You could argue Leo because you could argue Leo for everything, but the way Spargo is moving is insane. I don't know how you're supposed to beat him. He is just so quick. Every option comes out immediately. Like, it feels like he's playing on 2x speed, and frankly, it's not fair. And I think that playstyle in Japan, that rushdown, like Cola has a rushdown and Spargo has a rushdown. Their rushdown styles are very different, but I think they both do incredibly well. And they do have a Japanese cloud player there. They have Yak or Yoshi. I'm not actually sure how you say it. It's YOC there. He is absolutely incredible as well. And I just think that even if Yak or YOC, I'll just say that for the rest of the video, or refer to him again, is good. He's really good. He's actually been doing the best he's ever done right now. It's kind of the same thing with Now. Spargo is on another level. He's top 3 in the world. He just won main stage. He has a very good record against a lot of Japanese players. I think the only like super notable ones he's losing against is Shutone, and he's played Proto once and he lost that one. But basically everyone else he has a positive record against. Like, Spargo is just so quick, and I think that playstyle would do incredibly well in a Japanese meta. Plus, I just want to see him travel more because, again, we've never seen Spargo travel, so it'd be super sick to see him like outside of NA playing against people that he would have never played against before. And finally, my number 1 player that I want to see travel to Japan is going to be MK Leo. And I think MK Leo is the only person on this list who has actually traveled to Japan for Smash Ultimate. Again, I could be wrong about Light. I'm not actually super sure if Light has, but definitely no one else has. Like, people have traveled to Europe on this list before. Obviously, Bloom lives there. Mudace is here for this tournament. But Leo has been to Japan, and it was his worst performance ever. Let's see if you can you guess where it is? Oh, it's right there. I don't know why I'm hiding. It is at Umebura Japanese Major 2019. He was seeded 2nd, and he got 33rd. That is his worst performance, I think, just at anything. Yes, at literally any event ever. It is 33rd. It is one of his 2 events that he's ever had where he placed outside of the top 8, which is crazy. The other one was 9th. Like, that is unreal. And I will say he was picking up Joker for this performance or for this tournament, so it is like you do kind of gotta cut him a little bit of slack. I think he missed it at Summon as well. I don't know if I said that, but still, you got to come a little bit of slack there, but I want to see the run back. I imagine he plays Byleth now. By imagine, I mean he's going to play Byleth now. We do have Riziyasu, who's very good in Japan, and then probably some other good Byleth players I'm not super aware of because Japan just has, again, so many insane players. Like, every single week there's, like, a new, like, top, like, Wii Fit player for some reason. Like, it's actually unreal. But Leo is so good, and just watching him play against new faces is really, really hype. And we also kind of have that semi-rivalry of him versus Proto now. It'd be super interesting to see Leo take it to him on the home turf. Leo has traveled a ton as well. Like, he's been to Europe a bunch. He has been to Japan. And I just want to see him get that revenge on Umabora. Because I know there's an Umabora happening, I think in February or January. And it's like super stacked, like 1,000 entrants. And I don't know if any of these players are signed up for it. I should have checked that before, but hopefully Leo is one of them signed up because I just would love to see him there. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If there's any players that I left out, please let me know down below. I'm interested to see who you guys want to see travel to Japan, what matchups you're looking forward to. Maybe some of y'all want to see just certain matches versus Yoshidora because that could be hype as well, versus Mia, all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for support. It means the world to me lately. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.